Hey folks, today I'm addressing two people specifically. You're more than welcome to watch this video and join in the discussion if you choose to do so. But this is going out to two people, Jerone and Prince. I was talking about you guys a little while ago. I was having a funny discussion, and I thought, I ain't seen you guys for a while, but I know you're gonna get this video, so it's going to be quite fun. Now, if you remember back many moons ago in the late 90s when we was all working at DHL, that slave driving plantation near Heathrow Airport, and we had a discussion, and I made reference to a female member of staff, and I said, yeah, I would go with her, but I don't actually fancy her. And then Jerome, you looked at me with a confused look on your face. You said, well, for you to go with her, you must fancy her. And I said, well, no, not necessarily. No, that's not the case. And I couldn't really articulate my point. I mean, I can now because I've read more books and I've taken part in discussions and so forth. So I'm a bit more worldly, a bit more knowledgeable now. So I could express it better now than I could back then. So your definition, both of you and Prince, your definition of fancying someone just had one layer and one layer only, and that's what I was protesting against, because what I tried to express back then and what I'm expressing now, the definition of fancying someone is a lot more nuanced and it has a lot more layers than what you was making out back then. If I could explain, if you don't already know, okay, I'll use an illustration like this. If I was to take the average man watching this video right now, and I was to take him to a swingers club or swingers party, all right? Now, his standards more than likely would lower because there's a chance of him getting his dick sucked or getting fucked, getting a fuck. So he would fancy a fuck. Now, the woman he would probably fuck, or the woman who would allow to suck his dick, probably would not necessarily be the same woman that he would walk across a bar to go and have a conversation with a view to take her out on a date, right? She'd probably be bigger than what he would normally go for, and she'd probably be not as good looking as he would probably normally go for. In the circumstances of a swingers club or swingers party where he doesn't have to take her on a date, he doesn't have to spend any money on her, she's there, she's up for it, she's got his dick in her hand, about to go in her mouth, and he's going to oblige for it. Outside of this situation, put him in a bar or a club, you put the same woman across the dance floor or across the room, he probably wouldn't look at her twice, right? So by your definition, he fancies her. My definition, he fancies a fuck. Completely different thing. He fancies a fuck. Now, my definition of you fancying a woman is, wow, I really like her. I would like to have a phone number. I would like to spend some quality time with her with a view of someday being committed to her. Whether subconsciously or consciously, that is my definition of fancying someone. You see a lady who works in a hairdresser, you think, wow, man, she's hot. I really like her. And, you make the pursuit of getting to know her. That is my definition of you fancying someone. Fancying a fuck is not the same league as the woman I just as illustration I've just given there. So I'm sure if you're, I'm sure, yes, Jerome, you're married. And I'm sure if you said to your good wife that when you fancied her, it's the same as fancying some bitter skirt in a swingers club, she won't be too happy with that. You see my point? I couldn't illustrate it back then. Sorry. So when you say for you to go with someone, you must fancy them, you fancy a fuck, but that's just not the same as fancying that woman. That's the point I'm getting at. And another thing I tried to point out to you guys, which you couldn't see. You made the assumption that just because a woman is attractive that a man automatically fancies her. Yes, I may find a woman attractive. I might find a woman extremely hot. But that does not mean I want to spend any time on her. It doesn't mean I want to get a phone number. It doesn't mean I want her in my life. If she offered her pussy on a plate, yes, I would take it if the opportunity was there and it was a chance of getting laid. But whether I want to see her again, whether I would give a shit about her, chances are I probably wouldn't. But if I fancied somebody, I would. And even if she wasn't as good looking as the hot woman, you know, human emotions doesn't work the way you think it does. You know, you may really fancy a woman who's just really average looking, and you may not fancy the woman that much, or you fancy her at all who's really hot looking. You know, it's human beings are a lot more nuanced than you guys make out to be, and that is my point. That is really my point. And I hope by now do I want to use the word grown up to see my point? I don't know. It's up to you. Different folks for different strokes. But there you are. I've made my point. So guys, I hope you're well. And Prince, if you're still with your good lady, I hope you're happy. And contact me via Facebook, and all of us should catch up and go for a drink sometime. I ain't seen you guys for years, and I'm sure we've got lots to tell each other. Okay, speak to you later. Bye.